This is Carl Moore talking management for Globe and Mail. Today I'm delighted to sit down with my colleague Henry Mintzberg and talk about peer coaching, one of the hot ideas in leadership development. Henry, you've been involved in leadership development for a couple decades now. What's your latest thinking in terms of what is the best thinking in leadership development?
To back off leadership and emphasize communityship. Of course, I've been thinking about that for decades too, but the more I see what goes on, the more I think leadership is important and communityship, or the sense of community, is more important. Leaders need to serve communities. Communities don't need to serve leaders.
So how do you develop that communityship in leaders through leadership development programs?
Well, we started with the IMPM, the International Masters in Practicing Management, and the idea there was to bring in managers, and instead of having them do cases on other people's experience, they bring in their own experience and they sit at round tables and they spend half the time sharing and discussing their experiences in light of what we do in the other half, which is introduce all kinds of concepts. And that kind of developed into a healthcare program, and then it developed into coaching ourselves, which was taking the same philosophy and embed it straight into companies.
What is the central reason or couple reasons that we need to move from leadership to communityship? Why are you making that argument these days?
Because a lot of chief executives have become lone wolves, not just in the nature of the job, but because there's a lot of sort of narcissism or focus on single individuals, or if it's not the chief executives themselves, it's the board or the stock market analysts who expect the CEO to do everything. And that creates that, every healthy organization, company, whatever, government department, NGO, anything, every healthy organization has a strong sense of community. Good organizations are not collections of human resources, they're communities of human beings. And that's why we've got to get past this obsession with leadership as if it's one individual who makes all the difference. Individuals who make all the difference are very often ones who have a very sophisticated sense of community, and they're building that and helping and taking advantage of the community that's there instead of ignoring it, or even in so many cases destroying it.
Henry, I understand you're doing a session in Montreal in September. What is that session about?
I'm particularly keen about the conference taking place in September, with coaching ourselves. We've got case studies from places like Japan and Denmark and Australia and Canada, a lot about Canada, and the wonderful things that you can do when people peer coach each other. It's quite novel. It's quite unusual, but when people see it in act, we do it extensively at McGill, for example, and when people see it, they just get very keen on it. So we want to kind of expose that to a lot of people so that they can get a sense of it, to especially HR people.
What makes you excited about peer coaching?
Because I think it's consistent with my idea of community, that we put too much emphasis on hierarchy and not enough emphasis on people working as partners. What I'm looking forward to is spending 2 full days in fairly small numbers of people chatting with senior HR people, just free for 2 full days to explore and really get deeper into because all the questions you're asking, Carl, I want to ask them too. What do they think about peer coaching? What do they think about leadership? What do they think about communityship?